Systema PTWs have been regarded as the ultimate airsoft gun that money can buy. I'm deliberately not calling it an AEG because even though it's powered by a battery and a motor like most AEGs, the similarities stop there. And I won't want to confuse anybody into thinking that it's just another regular old AEG, because it isn't. And probably this is also a good time to point out that Systema originally designed the PTW for law enforcement and military training, which is why they call it the PTW, or Professional Training Weapon. PTWs have been around since the 90s, but frankly there hasn't been too many big changes over the years. We've seen some new motors, new cylinders, smaller circuit boards, and ultimately led to an embedded MOSFET inside the receiver of the gun, and other minor changes here and there. So it's with some trepidation that I review this latest offering that promises to bring PTW to a new level of realism. But does it? Today we look at Systema's latest offering, specifically the Recoil Shock Model. Let's see just how shocking it's gonna be. So, how shocking? In one word, it's not, especially for such a long wait. The recoil on the gun itself is really not as impressive as I would have hoped, but more on that later. Before we get into the internals of this gun, I do want to go over a few of the external features, and here is the gun. Now the gun itself features a metal upper and lower receiver with a polymer handguard. The polymer also extends to the pistol grip and the 6th position retractable stock. From there you get a flip-up rear sight and your standard triangle front sight. Now let's address the elephant in the room. This is a Recoil Shock Model, so I guess it's the internals that are going to be more interesting than the external features. And let's start talking about our internals with the cylinder. This test model comes with the M90 cylinder, and with all Systema guns, it can be swapped out to something a little different if that's what you want. Even up to the fabled M150 if you want it to be shooting that hot. Next up is the inner barrel. The inner barrel is 375 millimeters long at a 6.04 diameter. From there, we move to the trigger and firing mechanism. Now the shooting mechanism is electronically controlled and even uses optical sensors to determine the exact rotation of its gears. This delivers a very crisp and snappy feeling to the gun, but it all has been covered in previous reviews, so I won't delve too much into it. Now with all the generic stuff out of the way, let's talk about the big news for this gun. Actually, there's two innovations. Starting with the first one, the obvious one, the recoil system. Now the recoil system is electronically controlled, so every time you pull the trigger, you're going to feel a recoil impulse, much like the KWA ERG, and it functions more or less the same and feels more or less the same. So don't expect too much. Now the second innovation for this gun has caused a lot of debate online, and that is the magazine itself. Now the magazine for this gun also houses the battery. So if the magazine is not inserted, the gun doesn't shoot, mimicking the real gun. If your magazine is, well, not loaded at least, the gun doesn't go bang. So same for this. So let me show you how it works. On the back of the magazine, you see the connection ports right here. Now you connect these points to the points that are in the gun, so it would conduct electricity from the battery to the gun itself, allowing the gun to shoot, like so. Now that does mean that if you want multiple batteries, you're gonna have to buy multiple mags, and vice versa. But thank God, the LiPo inside each one of these magazines are interchangeable. So if you come a little closer, I'll show you what it looks like. And here are the internals of a magazine, namely the battery, which can indeed be removed and changed out. Now the gun itself is a generic M4, so it feels and handles just like how you would expect an M4 to handle. The recoil, it's really weak, it really is, but that trigger though is very, very responsive. And the recoil impulse can actually keep up with each pull of the trigger, even on full auto. Not bad. Let's go chrono the gun now. I'm using 0.2 gram BBs. and the gun shoots at a very stable 330 FPS. So here we are, I'm standing 20 meters away from our target, of course, back in our warehouse, and I'm gonna shoot the Recoil Shock by Systema. Now, shout out to Gambit for loaning me his iPro. It's really cool, I felt like wearing it today. Trigger, very responsive. Let me double tap. Let's go take a look at those results. Many of those shots landed right smack in the middle. Very accurate, Systema. Good job. Hey, if you're interested in PTWs, why don't you check out Tim and Taz's review right here on the screen.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of RedWolf TV. Today we're taking a look at the highly anticipated new Systema Mad Max.
Now at the start of this video, I did say that the new PTW Recoil Shock model was shocking, but during this whole review, we've basically just covered more or less another PTW with a tad bit more recoil and a different mag. What's so shocking about it? And if you're ready, here's the shocker. The price of this gun, just the gun, is $2,400 US. The price for the magazine itself, one mag, is $145. If that is not shocking to you, I do not know what is. But hey, if you think about it, in all fairness, these guns are designed with professional training in mind. And that's essentially where those three little letters come from in PTW. So these guns, being designed for military and law enforcement agencies, those two groups naturally do have higher budgets and more money to spend on platforms such as this. And if you come to think about it, the Recoil Shock model could inadvertently be the most realistic training platform for those two agencies. It does offer a little bit of recoil. The magazine, if it's not inserted into the gun, will not allow the gun to shoot, providing a little bit more realism, if you would have to say so. It doesn't have to deal with the inconsistency with gas, and it doesn't have to deal with any kind of hindrance that a system that requires a tank and line. You know what though? If you're a PTW fan and you've been waiting for the ultimate in realism for all these years, and you so happen to have another $2,400 laying around, hey, your PTW has finally arrived, so you can pick it up to match your personal helicopter, Rolex watch, and your highly trained team of ninja warriors to bring to your next MILSIM event. So for cool guns like this and many more, don't forget to check out our online store at www.redwolfairsoft.com. My name is Mark, aka Blue Steel. Happy 2017, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll catch you guys on the next episode of RedWolf TV. Have a good one, guys.